Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Riff podcast. My name is Bill Markey.
My name's Tommy Angelo. Welcome back.
Welcome back. And on today's episode, we've got a variety episode. We're going to be talking about Disclosure Day. We're going to be talking about Supergirl. We're going to be talking about Toy Story 5.
Mm-hmm.
And to lead things off,
Yeah.
I saw your mouth open.
No, I was going to say I have seen some recent films that I can discuss. I know we're not going to talk about Minions and Monsters today because you're building up to that. So that will have its own episode. But I did see two new movies that I'd also like to talk about just because I thought they were both really interesting.
Okay. Before we do, I have a burning question for you. I mean, there's some obvious stuff to say about this, but I'm definitely curious to hear what you think. What about the latest news? Because this is something that
This is going to be something I don't even know about, is it?
No, you know. There's no way you don't know. This can be something that is indicative of that can affect the movie business, not the movies, but the movie business. Is Sony's decision recently to announce that starting in January 2028, there will be no more discs for the PlayStation games.
Yeah.
They've also, not that this really affects a lot of people, they have removed 500 titles, movies-wise, off the PlayStation Store. And for some people, they might think, why is this a big deal? Because even though this is more of a video game thing, it could be another step in the direction of, the erasing of physical media, which then can also be concerning for...
It goes further than that, in my opinion. This is not even actually about movies or like media in general. This is just about companies having ownership over what you own.
Right.
And
well, that's where I was going with it.
And like, to me, it creates such a toxic relationship that like this company is selling you a subscription and you get all of these things. Or like, let's say, if you buy a movie on the PlayStation Store, because you can do that. You can buy a movie. Or, anything like that. Any way you want to put it, Xbox, Prime, things like that. Like, you don't own that movie. Like, the way I see it in this world is if you don't have it in your own hands, like, you don't really own it. You know what I mean? There's so many things now where why are we letting these companies just like walk all over us is the way I see it. It's a constant question of like, why? And to me, it's because everyone's just too lazy to like say anything. Everyone will always complain about it, but when it comes to actual actionable steps, it's like, where are we going with this? And to me, like, ways that you can help solve this issue is buy more physical media, stop renting and buying everything on Amazon, own the movie. I mean, I practice what I preach. If you're on the YouTube right now, Shelby Oaks movie I donated to, have it right there. Criterion Collection, No Country for Old Men.
Let's go.
Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Whoa.
Crazy Stupid Love. I got this at a pawn shop. I got this at. Criterion Collection of Blue Velvet. I could keep going on and on. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that I practice myself. And also, like, it's just cool to have it here for your fucking collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying here is stop letting these people do things and start taking actual actionable steps towards a brighter future. Because even if you think about it, you don't care. I know there's people out there like my dad who just sit back on his couch, watches movies, and don't care. When it comes 20 years down the line, when it's not just media that you don't own, but it becomes way bigger things than just media, and I won't even get into that conversation, you're going to be regretful. And those steps start here. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. I started buying some more 4Ks here and there. I have the PlayStation 5, so I wonder one day when the disc drives are gone, what happens. But
didn't you get it for the midsummer?
Well, I got to play. So I always like having a game system. I've never been the biggest gamer, even when I was like 10.
Yeah.
Like I just never. I've always had a game system, but I've never been an obsessive gamer. Like you recommended, I downloaded that Resident Evil game, and I played it once, and then I forgot I owned it.
It was Resident Evil 7, right? If
7,
I'm correct.
and
yeah.
I'll go back to it. I just don't. When I have free time, I just don't think. But when I dial into a game, forget it. Like when I played Spider-Man 2, there was no stopping me. Like I was locked in.
You were into it.
So into it. But but that's why I always have a PlayStation. I'm like, okay, I might play some games, and this is also a really good 4K player because 4K players are pretty expensive. But like I remember when I saw F1 I was like, there's no way I'm not owning this movie because as Christopher Nolan, as well as many people, but Christopher Nolan recently,
Yeah.
he's a big proponent of physical media, and he said, even if it says you're about to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in 4K on Disney Plus, you can never truly transfer the movie in its truest form. You can never really get it the way it was made and shot on a streaming service. So if you want the truest form of the movie that was made, then you have to buy the physical media.
And that's another angle of it. And also the thing is, for for as funny as like these companies don't want us buying physical media anymore, all of these pieces of physical media, especially if you want to get into like Criterion Collection and stuff, Criterion Collection is good because they actually promote physical media.
Right.
They stand for it. But I'm even talking about companies that don't, like Warner Brothers, etc. All of their 4Ks, everything, all have incentives for buying the physical media. I'm talking like behind the scenes, poster art, things such as that. You're literally giving free incentives. You're spending all this money to, like especially if you're buying movies on Prime. Like it's one thing to rent a movie, to watch on Prime or something like that. To me, is one thing if you're buying movies digitally. That's fucking crazy to me. And even worse, like the Fire Stick stuff and like the pirating of movies and things like that. I've just always been against that. I don't think that you're literally getting movies and it's not even about I'm getting stuck up about like people going behind theaters backs and things like that, even though I think we should be supporting theaters because you're literally taking away the whole point of movies, which is a communal experience. But regardless of that fact, if you're buying these movies or pirating movies, you're getting it in the worst possible quality. It's like you're accepting shit because you get it for free. You're eating shit because it's free. You know what I mean? That's literally what you're doing, unfortunately. I don't know.
A lot of people don't know. Like when I first saw The Revenant, I rented it. I didn't rent it. I'm sorry. It said buy it for $4. I was like, fucking okay. But I've told people they're not even aware. You buy something and Amazon is done with that title. They're done with that.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And your money
it.
ain't coming back either.
It's done. And it's a double-edged sword because at the same time, I do understand why the average person's going to go, I'm paying X amount a month for streaming services. Why would I now go buy a 4Ks are getting a little pricey here and there. You could find them for fair price and then they can get pricey. So I see where people come from because we're different. We're lunatics about movies.
Yeah.
I used to have like over 200 DVDs. I sold most of them because I switched to Blu-ray and 4K, but now I just have a Blu-ray 4K collection. But I also get why people, especially if you've got like, you got a family and whatnot, you're maybe not going to start just, buying a ton of 4Ks or Blu-rays. Like I can understand like the ease and like we're all looking, well, most people are looking for things to be quicker, easier, faster.
Yeah.
And there is benefits, of course, to the streaming services. I mean, I have nothing against them. They're wonderful.
Yeah, but a huge point to, take a little stake in the heart for streaming services is if you look at it, like, I know you said we're movie lunatics, but let me play into the side that I don't like right now, the business side of things. Numbers do not add up for streaming services, and they are not going to be around for much longer, in my opinion. The way I see it is they're going to the wayside a little bit, and I don't know what the studios and companies are going to do in replacement, but they make zero profit.
We're also at the infancy stage. I remember saying that to you when we were training one day.
That is true.
I said, right now I think they said Apple loses, that was like $1 billion a year.
But how much are they spending on these shows,
They're investing for the long term. Like we haven't seen, I think Netflix is the only one that's actually profitable. If I remember reading that a couple of years ago. I don't know if that changed. But like, right now we're still in the early stages. Who knows what's going to be like 20 years from now? And when we're still seeing them lay the groundwork, really. This is still so new.
But like the thing I really want to harp on is like physical media has been around for like so long. And yes, I'm not someone who's against change and evolution and things like that. I'm all for it. I mean, I talk about it all the time on the podcast about like me getting bored by movies and how I want to see innovation and change and whatnot. But when it comes to things like these, my stance on it is, if you're actually like a big fan of these things, like why aren't you investing money into it? And if it's not, and if it's a financial thing, like why are you letting companies walk all over you? And if it's not even for that, it's to go into your point about like the infancy stage, like all of these things are such hot water. Like if I'm just surprised that more people aren't worried about what they actually own.
I don't think they're aware of
and,
what's going on.
that's the thing is like, dude, if I bought a movie and then I looked on streaming services and it was taken away from me and I don't get my money back, bro, like you're being robbed in blind daylight. Just because they rob you 2 years later doesn't mean that they robbed you. That's the truth. That's the truth of it.
It's interesting because before we go off this topic, not too long ago, HBO Max, which pretty much every Warner Brothers title's on there. You used to be able to think, okay, and I have all the main Batman animated movies on Blu-ray besides the live action ones. They actually took most of the Batman titles off because they're getting ready to cut deals to put them on Netflix. So the thing is, even if your thing doesn't go away forever, these things shuffle around. It's like I recently watched Bohemian Rhapsody. Netflix was like, it's leaving soon. And then if you want to watch it, now you got to go find it. Did it move over to HBO Max? Did it move to Peacock?
Oh, yeah.
Like
then it's the game of trying to find where it is.
Right. And then you may end up renting or buying it.
The thing is, though, a movie is a product, right? It's a product. And the truth of the matter is they're not selling you products anymore. They're selling you a service in which they can take away at any point that they want.
Yeah.
So you don't own a product, you own a service, and they're doing a service to you, and they can take that service away at any point that they want. The truth of the matter is, if you buy a product, they can't take that away from you. That's the only way I could really lay it out,
Or if a server crashes.
Anything,
Yeah, this is the internet. If it goes down, and one thing to add on to what you say, and then we could wrap up this part of the conversation, is our favorite critic, Sean Fennessy, talked about this on Button Mash, which is on the Ringerverse. It's like a video game show, and they had him on yesterday. And he said, if you want to change this, it wasn't just about buying physical media. He said, talk about it, speak. He said, look at what
exactly
tweeting, look at what, voicing your. I mean, fucking Warner Brothers got behind Zack Snyder to make a $40 million version of the Snyder Cut because enough people spoke. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time, but we are in an age where if you do speak up and you cause an uproar, you're not guaranteed that's going to work, but it also does work. It doesn't have a 1,000 batting average, but it does work.
But that's kind of what I was saying before is everyone loves to complain about this, but no one wants to take any actionable steps towards fixing it. And I think that's what Sean's talking about too.
Yeah. Well, as we move
let's talk about some happy things then.
That was like Disclosure Day, but for Sony and PlayStation. So how about we talk about the film Disclosure Day?
Okay, so I'm not as excited anymore.
The main event's got to be Toy Story 5. But Disclosure Day is a 2026 sci-fi thriller by Steven Spielberg about humanity's first public encounter with extraterrestrial life, centered on a whistleblower and a meteorologist who reveal alien secrets to the world. This movie is still out in theaters. It only just came out a couple weeks ago. The film is hated and loved for what it's worth, even though it's a skewed ranking system. It's 80% tomato meter, 73 popcorn meter for Rotten Tomatoes. It's 74 on Metacritic, 6.9 on IMDb, and a 3.6 on Letterboxd. Its budget was 115. Right now, its worldwide total is 207. And usually, if you want to like truly make a profit, you got to kind of double the budget because you have to take in marketing. So this movie's got to definitely clear 300 mil to be truthfully like a success. And right now it's sitting at 207. This movie's been going down.
Oh yeah, not getting anywhere near that. Yeah, a huge drop off for Disclosure Day from what I saw, and also just no one's talking about it.
No one. And I will say this before, and I want to hear you talk about it.
Yes,
I did just look up on the Cinemark app. I will say though, it is a fun time because I looked up on the Cinemark app to see some Evil Dead Burns showtimes for tomorrow. I felt good seeing like a cool variety. I was like, oh, look at this. Backrooms is out with new footage. Obsession, which is on streaming, still has a couple showtimes left. You have Jackass. Even though the following movie sucked, you still have a superhero movie. Supergirl is out. You have a Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day. You've got the movie you're going to speak about pretty soon, The Invite. You've got Evil Dead Burn. I'm leaving out a couple movies.
Minions and Monsters.
Minions. You have Toy Story. It's actually pretty cool. When I looked at the lineup, I was like, even Young Washington, which I'm weirdly interested in after seeing all this promotion for it. I don't know why
I'm not. It looks like it looks like an AI movie, bro.
I don't know why I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters, but it's a healthy time though at the box office. Even if some of these movies are tanking, but it is a really healthy time. Now, you wrote a lengthy letterbox on Disclosure Day. So to go off that, how did you feel about this movie?
I will say like you sent me. I think me and you just fall like really different on this one. This I don't know. Like this might be like the biggest contrast of like things because when you text, I mean I don't know how you still feel about it like time removed
I've changed a little.
because we haven't really talked about it. But dude, when you fucking saw that movie, you texted me and you were like, 10 out of 10, 10 stars, like best movie ever. I was
I
a
didn't say
lot.
best movie ever.
Like I don't know remember what you said. It was something in that vein, but regardless, I was super excited for it because I love Steven Spielberg. His last movie, Meet the Fablemans, was one of my favorite movies I've seen in such a while, such a long time, and it spoke so much to me. And then I went to this, and there was moments where I had like, do you know that meme of like the guy like sitting up, like it's like the arrow of the guy like sitting up.
I
No.
think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But regardless, like there's a couple moments where the movie got me like that. But regardless, I thought this was like one of the weakest films of the year. I think this was just rough. And what it really hurts is like this feels like such a like a generic alien like Mission Impossible esque movie, like screenplay wise. Like I just do not think David Koepp's screenplay did much here. It was weak, very weak in my opinion. I mean, it's just like over explaining every thematic element. The dialogue I just didn't find that interesting. Like the one scene that I think could have really sung, and we're getting into spoilers here. I mean, I think enough time's removed, but spoiler warning for Disclosure Day. I think the main scene that a lot of people harp on about this movie is the scene where Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo have the like one-on-one conversation together. And I think that scene could have really sung, and it almost does because Coleman Domingo's that good of an actor. He's has that much presence.
So good.
He's so good, but oh my god, bro, this screenplay. I mean, I know that Spielberg wrote the story. He did not write the screenplay, but he wrote the story for this. And all over this story, it's about how empathy is like the key for humanity's like survival and like is the key for solving all of our current issues. And in this scene, I mean, he just like spells it out like for like verbatim, like that empathy is the key. And I just think that's so weak. And even Spielberg's like god level of direction like can't save a screenplay like this. But also like the direction kind of falls flat in some scenes. Josh O'Connor like stumbling through the grass with all of these FBI intel agents who are all trained like high level like military people, and he's just in this open field just like trying to sneak.
On that, yeah.
And it was so corny. It looked so corny. Some of the like a lot of the action sequences that people really liked were the ones that I didn't. Like I thought the train one, I was like, oh dude, what am I watching? Mission Impossible here? Like what the fuck am I watching?
He loves a good train scene.
And no, he does. I just think it just didn't fully work for me. But part of me feels for Spielberg because I can see, Spielberg's a 79-year-old man. He's seen so much of what's going wrong, and like he throws little bits and pieces of that in the story with like a World War III plot line that like has no amount of stakes in the movie. It's like a huge thing, but has zero stakes in the movie, and it just feels like every other character doesn't even know that that's happening.
You forget it's happening.
Yeah, you
even
forget that the
member.
world is on the brink of World War III. So just regardless
the scene
of
where
that,
people are struggling at the convenience store to get water and stuff. I remember thinking, why are they doing that?
yeah, I was like, are the aliens taking water? I was like, what?
That's
what?
actually, I thought the aliens were coming. I was like, what are they doing this for?
Yeah, I was like so confused, but I don't know. Colin Firth didn't work for me either, unfortunately.
You had a good call. Who would you have recasted? Yeah, I thought that was a good call.
Oh, Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
I think he would have brought so much energy because this character had so much energy and life to him, and it felt like Colin Firth couldn't decide when he wanted to kick up the corniness and the campiness of his character, and when he wanted to be like nonchalant. And it just felt like a tug of war there that just was not working for me at all. I love Colin Firth, that just did not work for me. Also, Emily Blunt didn't work for me, and I think
wow, really?
Yeah, and I know you say it's one of her strongest performances, but what does she do in this movie other than made some really cool alien noises? She goes on a global, scavenger hunt for another man just based off some alien voice in her head telling her what to do. I just think that's so boring, and it's like the plot itself is guiding her. And she does nothing of like crazy like acting extravagance in this movie, in my opinion. This doesn't even hold a fucking candle to A Quiet Place or A Quiet Place 2. Not even, it holds nothing. Holds
Edge of
nothing to her
Tomorrow.
performances of that. Yeah, anything like that. I'm sorry. And it's not Blunt, it's Kep's screenplay. I'm sorry. It is Kep's screenplay. Josh O'Connor is being Josh O'Connor, so it's like fun to watch him. If you like him, it's fun to watch. Who played his girlfriend? It hit.
It's Eve Houston.
Eve Houston killed it. Probably one of the best performances in the
Really,
movie.
I thought she was not really utilized.
So agreed.
I feel like the movie just forgets about her.
Agreed. But there's one scene with her that I actually think is one of the best scenes in the movie. And it's like the scene with her and the cross, like the religious themes is what I was really like. Okay, I like where you're going with this, like this religious theme, things like this. That all just feels like it's brought to the wayside, and then you get the little scene at the end of the nun, like learning that aliens are real, and it's like, okay, it just feels like Spielberg had so much to say about humanity and what he thinks humanity needs, and all these different themes, and none of it comes together. Kep's screenplay is super weak, dialogue wise, everything. There's some great action set pieces, even though like it felt like this movie wanted to be like so many different movies. It's like all of these bubbling like good pieces to me just never came together to create a cohesive story. And so by the end, when it's revealed that the aliens, like to me, the alien designs in this movie also speaks to the uncreativity and like AI nature of this film, in my opinion. Like it's like how did I described it in my letterbox? Like, okay, Kep's recent screenplays have not been landing for me like whatsoever. They feel half-baked, constantly wanting to explore character depth, which they do in this movie, before backtracking to focus on plot complexities, which they do in this movie. And they feel exactly how this movie's visuals look, in my opinion, desaturated and forced. And that even speaks to like the aliens' designs. If you asked a 12-year-old boy or a 10-year-old boy to draw what aliens look like, that's how aliens look in this movie. And it just feels so unoriginal and uncreative. And that's why like that whole scene where they really try and make you feel bad for the aliens at the end, I just didn't feel a thing. I was like, what is going on? And also, biggest plot hole of all time in this movie is its ending, where they reveal that they had an alien the entire time, and the entire movie was about them trying to protect alien evidence. Yeah, I can't even speak to how fucking insane of a plot hole that is, but whatever. This movie just didn't fully work to me. It felt like a very weak script, directed the hell out of by a very, very senior skilled director, and I can see what he was going for, and I feel what he was going for, but it just wasn't here.
I definitely got caught up in the excitement of when that movie ended. I was messaging you as credits were just rolling. Since then I've sat a little differently with the movie. I still like it. I'm not in love with it certainly anymore. The more like I sat with the film, I was just immediately just excited by it. What got me was Blunt's performance. I personally thought Blunt was great. Also, shout out, I didn't realize this till after. Two of my wrestling buddies are in the movie. Shout out Juan
in the
Varg.
opening scene.
Yeah, they're in the fucking crowd. And
Yeah.
two guys I've been in the ring with. One of them had his first match ever. Shout out Colton Charles and Juan Vargas. They were in the like right there. Like you can actually see them.
That's awesome,
And
dude.
shout out AEW wrestlers Brian Cage and Lance Archer who opened the film. But I think I really just got caught up in Blunt's performance and some of the set pieces, like the Invisible House sequence. Like there were things that just worked on me.
But that's what I'm saying. There are pieces of this film that work for me. That's what I was trying to get at. Is there's some great set pieces.
I think I hung on to the things I liked so much and like just boosted them up on steroids because the more I sat with the movie, the World War III subplot was just forgotten. I feel like Eve Houston and Josh O'Connor did not have any chemistry. I feel like even their relationship.
That's a good point. But I do think that she brought some really good dramatic weight to a movie that didn't feel like it had it. In some
I
scenes.
agree. I just feel like when they were done with her, the movie was done with her. When
Yeah,
they
like
were done with Wyatt Russell,
she comes in to save the plot at the end. You know what I mean?
yeah. When they were done with Wyatt, they were done with Wyatt. They were done with the subplot of the World War III. They were done with that. It's like they moved on from things pretty quickly. And I think the thing I brushed up on most is just, and Spielberg has always come from the perspective of what if they were peaceful, as opposed to movies like Independence Day and A Quiet Place and whatnot, where these things come to Earth and they just want to ravage us, where he's always been more on the side of like, what if they're not like that? And the more I sat with it, Like the scene where everybody, including the I think Russian and North Korean troops, everybody's on their phone watching this telecast of, them breaking the news to the world about aliens and whatnot. In real life, there are UFO files that have been talked about being dispersed, and nobody
And
bats an eye.
they're actually talked about legally in the court system.
Right. Like, but
Yeah.
no, and nobody bats an eye. So like I do when I sat with it longer, I was like, I don't know how if people would care so much that literally like in Spielberg's eyes, the world would stop. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't think the world would I kind of think the world would go into mass panic and it wouldn't just be this let's all like for his idea that this can possibly stop a war, possibly. He doesn't say it necessarily does, but he's inferring that. I brushed up on that. I was like, that's a strong
Also,
take.
no one would believe this shit if it were true. Like there was just so many plot holes in this movie. It just that whole ending sequence does not work for me. And I was just laughing at how the aliens looked because it's like, dude, Signs did it like decades ago. I don't know.
Like I don't
I don't know,
disagree with you. The
man.
thing is, I really did get caught up in Blunt's performance. I really thought she was
But
great.
Bill, what does she do?
Right. I think
What
she's
I don't know what she does other than what she's told to do by some entity in her head in Coleman Domingo, and she's just reacting to it. Sure, her reactions are great because she's a world class actor, but what is this movie doing that challenges her?
I don't disagree with you. I just think for what she did with it, it worked on me.
Okay,
And I think
fair enough.
honestly
Fair
that
enough.
was like 90% of my excitement was Blunt's performance.
Mm.
I'm somebody who like it's funny. I said 10 out of 10 and then I might have texted you or I text my client Tammy. I'm like moments later I'm like, "All right, 9." Since then I'm like 6 or 7. So, but I don't hate this movie. I actually like this movie.
Okay.
But I don't disagree though with anything you've said because
Okay.
the more I sat with it, I was like, okay, this is a
It's
strong take that this would
it's
have this big of an impact on us.
yeah, and it's clearly had no impact on the zeitgeist, and it's sad because I think Steven was really going for a movie that does and has like was trying to have this effect where like he speaks to empathy being a very huge key to humanity's survival, which is true in my opinion. I completely agree with him. I'm completely on his side.
Yeah.
It's just, dude, wrong movie for this message, wrong delivery, bad delivery, and it's just no one's talking about it, so the message didn't even get across, and that's sad, and that's what's sad. I think he was going for something so much deeper, and what this ended up being was a really greatly directed, shitty script, Mission Impossible alien movie.
I don't know if these adult dramas work the way that they worked in the 90s and early 2000s. Like there was a per there I don't remember the stat. I should have it pulled up, but I did hear a stat on another podcast that said like the 18 demographic has barely seen this movie. Like I just don't
Yeah, you
think
probably couldn't even ask half the kids I know what Disclosure Day.
yeah.
They wouldn't even have an inkling.
It's like, for example, and I still need to see this movie, even though you said you didn't like it. I've heard a lot of critics loved it, but I don't think it was interesting. It just looked like the regular adult drama. Like I heard so many good things about Black Bag, but I don't think it just grabbed people because I don't know if some of these just pure kind of old school looking
Dude,
adult
I think David Kep wrote Black Bag. Hold on.
really like I just don't think people are as interested in like these old school adult dramas that don't really have that much thrill to
It's
them.
fucking written by David Kep, Black
Oh,
Bag. I
shit.
swear to God.
I didn't see Black Bag, but it's funny. You're the only person like I've heard
His
critics
scripts
in
feel
their
so sterile. And like these directors, like Steven Soderbergh, Steven Spielberg, they direct the hell out of these scripts, but these scripts feel so sterile.
That's why I kind of think, and then we'll move on unless you have anything else to say. I think that's why
No.
Chris Nolan, in a way, like, or I don't know if this is a proper one to put in the same category as him, but like Jordan Peele, they resonate with all the audiences because they can make an adult drama, but they make them interesting. They shoot them like beautifully with these amazing sequences that you can't forget. Like they load it with a really diverse cast. It's not just, no offense, like a bunch of just like 40s and 50-year-olds. And I have no problem with that, but it doesn't seem like these types of films resonate the way that they once did.
And I honestly don't even think it's that because wait till you watch The Invite. Boy, is that going to resonate, I bet, for you. But it's the script is just sterile as fuck. It's taking elements from all these movies that I love and I like and is trying to string them together to tell to tell this story that Steven so badly wants to tell, and it's just not getting across because it feels like if you like took a string and you tried to like put it through all these like misshaped objects. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be cohesive, and these are like really great objects, but they're just not shaped the right way. I don't know if that's making any sense, but
No, because even the way like the drama, like that's a movie about it's like an adult themed movie. It's about this relationship that's falling apart, but it's a weird movie that injects comedy and shock and awe and things for you to really grip onto and whatnot. It doesn't seem like some of these again. It just seems like these old school adult drama movies are not like the routine ones just don't like. I feel like this movie would have been big in the '90s. It just doesn't
Dude,
work as much
yeah.
now. I think this movie would have
Nicolas
done.
Cage would have been casted in this movie too.
Do you want to move on to Supergirl?
Wait, no, let's give your riff rating.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still gonna give it a 7. Can I guess yours?
I'm giving Disclosure Day a 3.
Oh, I was gonna say you're gonna give it a 4. Okay.
I'm giving it a 3. I gave it a 2-star on Letterboxd, which isn't great. So,
Yeah.
but I think we should go in order of release. We'll just talk about Toy Story because we need some levity right now.
Okay. I figure let's get some crap.
No, because you want to see angry.
Yeah. Supergirl. Supergirl is Kara Zor-El, Superman's cousin, a Kryptonian who uses her powers to protect Earth while navigating personal and heroic challenges. This movie
Sucks.
it's budget TBD. What? We know this movie is probably $200 million, but
I could look at budget for you right now. I got you.
yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up on my website. Worldwide total $100 million. This is a
170 to 186 mil.
Okay, there you go. This movie has a worldwide total of $100 million. We saw this with Kennedy.
We did. Shout out
laughing.
Kennedy.
We were laughing when we should not have been laughing.
Dude.
We were looking at each other puzzled.
No,
It
I think
seems-
you know when I really don't like a movie. I think I'm like so easy to read when I really don't like a movie.
For those watching on YouTube, you do your head just kind of rolls to the left or right. There's like this like head roll that you do, and I'm like,
I
yeah.
just roll my eyes too.
I just look at you the way that I forgot his name, but the guy who plays Johnny Storm looked at Evan Moss back, Joseph Quinn, when he looks at him in the
I feel like
Fantastic Four
me
interview.
and you communicate like that a lot.
Yeah, that I just turn the head and it's just like one of those. Can you believe this?
Yeah, no. What a shame too, because I think Millie Alcock is her name, right?
Yep.
Millie seems awesome, and I think she could really bring a lot of energy to this role. But as always, as anything with these movies we're fucking talking about, it goes back to the screenplay. And fuck, is this screenplay weak? It's
Terrible.
boring. It's derivative. It's cliche. I mean, the only characterization you get of your main character is that she's a party girl drunk, and that's it. And then retreading a plot point from Superman where we have to save Crypto again, and in this villain, what even is his name? I don't even remember. Like,
Krem. Krem.
Yeah. First of all, Krem has a very more interesting backstory in the comics, which I looked into, that touches on like themes of like toxic masculinity and how women are treated in society and the sexualization of women and all of these things. And this movie references that those things are still there, but has no want to explore any of them in any sort of way, which was the whole point of the Superman movie, having a comic book fun movie that explores deep themes. So then when you move on to Supergirl, why does she get worse treatment? And if you think about it, I think it comes down to the screenplay. It's so weak. You literally have a line from the young girl, spoilers for Supergirl going forward. You have a line from the young girl, don't even remember her name.
Eve Ridley. She plays
Her name's
somebody.
Character's name's Eve? Or she's the actress's name.
That's the actress's name.
Dude, I don't even remember what her name was.
Ruthie.
She's Ruthie, yeah. One of the most most forgettable characters in a movie of all time. Like, they were really trying to go for like the Joel and Ellie Last of Us like archetype of chemistry here. I've never seen two people who have less chemistry than Millie Alcock and Eve Ridley. It is so bad. I don't know who allowed this to happen. She literally has a line where she's talking about revenging her father. And she's like, I'm doing it for the revenge. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck did we get here? How the fuck did we get here? And what train did we get off? And what stop did we get off? Like
The plot holes, though, too. It's like
dude,
when you're
don't
talking about
even
the
get me
screen.
started. I don't even have to get into those.
The scream, just to name a few, there's a scene where Kara is being beaten down by the Green Sun, and Ruthie gets captured by the villain.
I don't get
And
it though. Is that kryptonite?
I don't fully know.
What? So is it the color green or is it kryptonite? I don't. Yeah.
And the villain says to Ruthie, "We know the Kryptonian would be here. So why don't you go get her before that yellow sun comes up, since you know she's on the planet?" The biggest thing I bumped up against in that movie, and it's fucking bothered me. This is a Supergirl movie, and there's a scene where she, after being a total badass for a moment,
Yeah. Really.
she gets shot with 3 kryptonite arrows after leveling guys. And Krem is getting ready to behead her, and she closes her eyes and accepts her fate until Jason Momoa saves her life. Then she decides to pull the kryptonite arrows out of her. Jason Momoa, who I did like in this movie, saves the day.
Yeah, he is the best. He is the best part of this movie, other than the few seconds that
David Cornsweet.
Cornsweet shows up and is a fucking is the boy, bro. And like seriously, and it is really not Millie's fault, because I can see why they casted Millie. I can see it. I can see it, and I can see that it's there, but it is the screenplay. Because I actually heard like the few seconds that she shows up in Superman, you're like, whoa, who's this? I'm interested. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not like a throwaway thing. And then to get here, just to find that there's nothing really interesting about her. Her backstory is inherently interesting, and the movie decides to pay attention to it for like 20 minutes and then forgets about it. So I don't really know.
The movie is saved by a man.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting thing, and I don't know why that. And you know, this screenplay, I'm pretty sure, was written by a woman too.
Written by a woman, Anna Noguera, who
Yeah.
doesn't have a lot of credits. I believe I heard she was originally supposed to work on a different Supergirl movie years ago or something like that. So they gave her this. But how is he the one saving the day? And then nonetheless, the best part of the movie is, in my opinion, is Corn Sweat. And he's the one who I think has the most chemistry with Millie Alcock in the few scenes
so
they have.
much. Cannot wait for that next movie just to see them together. You know what I mean?
Give me more of that. And I think she was definitely underserved. But like when she's playing up the whole drunk thing, and her glasses are crooked and whatnot, it's just like, God, I've seen this character. I know she's gonna,
Do you want to know what I think it is? When you look at a lot of the Marvel movies, God, do those actors and those characters have so much chemistry together. But it's when you give them their solo movie where you're like, this is not working. And it's usually because it's written by a different person, written by a different vision, and you don't have the chemistry of those characters. So much of what makes superheroes interesting. Think about why all these comics started out as Justice League and these teams. It's because it's the chemistry. You know what I mean? And in this movie, you replace amazing chemistry of Cornsweet and Millie with this fucking random girl. This random young girl who they're trying to make into like a main character now, and she has zero presence, zero main character energy, is a basic revenge tale that has nothing too interesting to say about revenge, other than the choice of Supergirl being the one to actually kill Krem, which I like that choice. I just wish we got there in a better way.
Look at the opening to Endgame, the 5 minutes Robert Downey Jr. and Karen Gillan spend on screen, where Iron Man and Nebula are just trying to kill time and space. He's inevitably going to die. They're playing like paper football with each other. Like that scene, there's 3 minutes, and like what
feels
you
a little
said
bit like magic, right?
Yeah, what you said is true about like look at like when Hiddleston and Hemsworth. Look at the way that all the Guardians bounce off each other. That's what I love that, man. That's a James Gunn movie.
And then think of
like,
Thor: The Dark World, where it's kind of just him.
Right, exactly. It's not as strong. Like,
yeah.
And the other thing too is I feel like even though James Gunn didn't shoot this, he wasn't a director. I mean, they need to get away from the James Gunn shot where there's a character in the middle and the superheroes fighting around them.
Yeah, and the close up of her flying, it does not. Those shots do not look good. They do not look good. They look really bad. You know.
But look at in Superman when Mr. Terrific is protecting Lois Lane, and they're circling her, and you see him being a badass to that great song, 5 Years Time. Look at like in the opening of Guardians 2, where you've got Groot running around and you see what's happening around him. That's like a James Gunn move. And they did this and they did it horribly, where Ruthie's in the middle, Supergirl's fighting to the worst fucking needle drop.
Not even a bad song, just a bad cover. Bad cover.
Jimmy Eat World, the middle.
Yeah.
And we started laughing at that.
Yeah, no, it was really embarrassing. Because you can tell that they thought it really worked. and it really does not. And what's a shame is some of the action set pieces here are pretty good. Like this is one of, if not like the most like missed potential I've seen in a movie. And that's why it was almost not even fun to like sit there making fun of it, because I was like, there is a 10 times better movie, like version of this movie out there that exists. And to me, I don't know. I don't even know how I would change it. I just think Supergirl needed a stronger story to start off of. And maybe it would have been good to start at origin level for her. I don't know.
Why? Yeah.
I needed a deeper characterization, and when they give it to her, it does not feel earned. And the interesting choices in this movie, yes, they're interesting, but they just do not serve the overall movie. And like the filmmaking's weak, it's really the screenplay is just like horrible. It's like a shitty chase after this villain for whatever. It's just it's kind of boring. And like the thing about like when you talk about something like The Last of Us, which is like honestly a pretty good thing to compare this story to, because it's about it is kind of a revenge story in somewhat of a way, and also in a way it's a story about two unlikely people coming together and like forming chemistry. The thing about that story is at the end it subverts all the tropes, and this doesn't. You know what I mean? Like this had nothing interesting to say about revenge. This movie had nothing interesting to say about its protagonist. You know, when you look at Superman, the whole idea of him being human and like what's human and who is he really, and like are his parents' motives his, and is he cursed because of that, and all these things that are so deeply interesting to say about a figure who's been idolized in the public world of media. When you get a chance to like introduce us to this character, it's like, why don't you have anything interesting to say about her? And that's why I think James Gunn needed to let this one sit in the tank for way longer. Kind of feels like they just popped this one out and it was like dead on arrival.
I don't think Supergirl's character was served by having somebody younger than her. I think she needed to be the one who needed necessarily to be maybe put in check a little bit.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think that's the issue. It's just the lack of chemistry and the lack of deeper characterization for her. You know, it's an interesting choice to have her kill Krem, but how did we get there?
Right.
Like, just she did that because she's just a party girl and she's a bit more loose than Superman.
And there's something to explore there with Supergirl to show the dynamics, the difference between her and Superman. Like she will kill.
Totally.
She is a mess that needs to be set straight and whatnot. And I don't think her character was served well by having somebody like Ruthie. I feel I would have maybe wanted to see just her and Lobo bounce off each other a little more.
Yeah, because like, I think Lobo plays more into like her vices, because I think it's very clear to me that Supergirl fights for justice while Superman fights for humanity.
Right.
And I think that's like a really important distinction. I think that's a conflict that James Gunn's gonna play on, but they did not develop it well enough in this movie. So I don't know if it's gonna land as well.
Hollywood cannot figure out, minus Wonder Woman 1, how to nail the female superhero movie.
And it's such a shame, because I think female superheroes are honestly kind of cooler than the male ones. Like, I mean, when you really line it up, there's a lot of awesome female characters. X-Men,
100%.
everything. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and the reason why it did is because it followed up one of the Avengers movies within like a month.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and nobody talks about it. I like the Black Widow movie. Most people don't. I think a bigger, like I like what Margot Robbie does with Harley Quinn. That performance to me is
there's a lot of tragedy in that character. There's a deeper characterization. You know what I mean? There's way more to explore. I'm excited for seeing Supergirl and Superman together, but I would not be excited for another solo Supergirl adventure. I would not be. And the thing is, and the difference is when Superman ended, I was excited for another Superman solo adventure.
100%.
And that's a thing, and that's really bad. You know what I mean?
And I don't know what it is, if it's just like they're just underserving these female characters with just like weak character development, bad screenplay,
weak screenplay, man. What it really comes down to for Disclosure and Supergirl, because the filmmaking is not the issue here. I will always point out when the filmmaking is the issue. It is at the origin point for both these movies is its screenplay. They both, and like that's the thing, is actually Disclosure Day and Supergirl are very closely related in that their general stories are very interesting. Krem had the ability to be a very interesting villain. Kara had a very interesting ability to be like a very much like darker version of Superman who's like so burdened by her trauma
I want the super.
and
Sorry.
not by her alienation of society like Superman was. It's very different. And when you look at Disclosure Day, all these things, there's so many interesting elements to that movie, but both of them go back down to the screenplay. Both of
I
them
want
could
the
not tie it together.
I'm more intrigued by the Supergirl that we saw in The Flash, played by Sasha Calais.
I have no idea. I mean,
No, she was like a darker, more like kind of like fucked up, like individual. Like there was
yeah.
more going on there. Like I would love to have seen that Supergirl explored. I also just again, Millie Alcock, I agree she's underserved. I just was not in for the whole. All right, I'm just reluctant to join in with the fight. And oh, here's the thing that makes me want to join the fight. It's not necessary to actually truly help the young girl. She's just in it to save crypto. And why the fuck? And yeah, I know you already said this briefly. Why are we getting another movie where crypto is like one of the main, if not the main reason that gets like the story really going?
Also,
We just had this.
you develop in Superman that Supergirl and Crypto are closely related and are a strong, important relationship. And then when you get the chance to tell that important relationship, you sideline him for the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then rely on us just believing that they have a strong relationship to get us through the story.
Keep him in
You
the
don't build it
movie.
up. There's a 5-minute opening montage that tries to build their relationship, and then she's taken away from him. That's not enough.
Keep him in the movie. Like the way that him and Corn Sweat work off each other is great. Like you see like the dynamic of that relationship. All they rely on is the opening and flashbacks. And then we'll get off this fucking movie in a moment. Like in Superman, you end up finding out that his parents essentially want him to go to Earth to take over and make it Krypton. So you find out this darkness there. You see in Supergirl's origins in this film that her parents were willing to, as Krypton was falling apart, only save a certain part of their population and move them off planet. Like that's fucking interesting to me. Like, wow, you guys were okay.
They don't
with a
explore
bunch
the
of your
moral complexity of that either.
with a bunch of your people getting slaughtered. Like, who were the people you saved? Were they the quote unquote top 1%? Like, why did you save them? Like, why could like was it whoever gets here first? I doubt it. Like there was a darkness to explore about her parents, which could have bled into Superman's like his parents' darkness and whatnot. And then we don't see fucking anything with it. All the interesting things we were given, Lobo, Superman, the potential of a crypto Supergirl evolving relationship throughout the film, what I just mentioned about her past, all those things got snippets. And that was it. And I don't like they were leaning hard into not what I call, but what is the cantina scene in Star Wars, and they didn't nail it. Like, look at all these weird looking aliens, and they all talk weird.
Which
and
all didn't look that interesting, and they all
No.
spoke in English in like an
They
English
look like
tongue.
they look like shit. For Christ's sakes, in A New Hope, George Lucas in the original cut had a guy with a Wolfman mask on, and suddenly I'm like, the fuck is that guy doing in there? There's a guy who looks legitimately like the devil
Yeah.
in that scene, and yeah, I don't know. I had another point and I forgot it.
Well, I think
My
I think
frustration.
what you're speaking to speaks to how weak the world building is in this movie.
Yeah.
This does not feel like it's taking place in the same universe as Superman, in my opinion. It feels like it's a completely different vibe, a completely different world, and also it does nothing to like Kara's main thing. If you look at her backstory, like what her thematic arc is in this story, is how Earth doesn't feel like home for her, and she's searching for a home. One, they do not land that her and Ruthie's relationship is like her home. And also she goes right back to Earth with like no issue. And they also don't explain why Earth didn't feel like home to her.
Yep, they show you a few minutes where she can't fit in.
A
It just
few
looks
seconds,
like a teenager in a high school movie.
Seconds.
Yeah,
I think
and
there was a really interesting Earth storyline to tell of Kara and Superman.
the villain he's enslaving women for this planet.
As concubines.
That's interesting. Look at what Mad Max Fury Road did with it, and they barely fucking touch it. Like the most interesting things this movie had to work with, they completely shoo away with. In a similar way to tie back, it's like Disclosure Day with the World War III subplot.
Well, no, that's what I was kind of saying. These movies are closely related in that really interesting elements, no cohesion, because if you go back to the origin point, both of their scripts are weak as fuck.
What's okay? What is
what-
you go first because
You want me
I
to go
think
first?
what
You want me to go first?
I think you gave it. I think I gave it less than you did coming out of the theater. But where are you at now, present day, right now with Supergirl?
Um, I'd give it a 2.
Yeah, I said. Oh, okay. Yeah. Honestly, I was going as low when we first walked out of that theater as a 1, and
Same,
I
same.
don't.
I was at a 1, but there are some cool action set pieces. And again, like Disclosure Day, it's interesting elements. It's just not nearly as well directed as Disclosure Day. But like the thing for me is good direction can never bump up a score that high as a bad screenplay. Like
Yeah.
screenplay is so important to me. Screenplay. You know what I mean?
And James Gunn said this one was up next because it was the strongest script they had ready. I know. I
Which
think it was
which
the
is
only
like
script.
which is
How about
like
that?
which is like come on now. Come on now,
Yep.
Come on now, James. Come on. What the fuck are we doing here?
All right. Toy Story 5. What?
Did you give it a 1? Is that what you're giving
Yeah,
it?
I'm going with the 1. I genuinely hated this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Toy Story 5 follows Jesse, Woody, Buzz, and the gang as they navigate a new digital threat to playtime, highlighting the challenges of growing up in a tech driven world. This movie is wildly successful. Its budget was $250 million. Dollars. Its opening weekend alone was 160. Its worldwide total, they're closing in on $800 million.
Dude. Oh
That
my
is
god.
that return on budget is like is barely, and this is 3.06 times. This movie could be, from what I understand, tracking to be the most successful animated movie ever made. It's
Which
again,
kind of quietly, because I'm not hearing a lot of discussion about this
yes,
movie. Like it's subtly. I saw this movie weeks removed from when it came out. I saw it on June 27th. Holy fuck, that theater was sold out. I like
well, that was about almost 10 days. This came out June 19th.
okay, so like almost 10 days, whatever. Almost 2 weeks removed. You know, Kennedy, my mom, and I are at the mall, and we're like, okay, let's go catch a movie. And we were gonna rewatch Obsession, couldn't find a showtime that was available. So I'm like, oh, Toy Story 5 will be open. That's fine. There was 3 showtimes that were fully first row as well sold out. Like not one seat in the house.
Yeah, I
And
mean, and
that's that it speaks to it. I didn't really follow the marketing of this movie, so I don't know if it was really good. I don't know if you did. Like, I don't know if you can speak to that at all.
it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, right.
Like it really wasn't
crazy.
anything nuts. They didn't go over the top. Like, in fact, the marketing really, the merchandising was really promoting Lotso, and I was excited for a return of Lotso, and he was not there.
Oh, thank God
But
they didn't do that. That would have like.
that's the. I thought he was going to be on the truck at the end with all like the useless garbage. I was like, is this where he pops out? I don't know. I love Lotso.
I love him
Because,
too, but take again like long legs takes away if you give him more. Takes away.
I don't
from it.
disagree with that. I'm a sucker when I heard he was going to be in it possibly, and
I
they're
hear you.
releasing merchandise stuff. I was like, oh, I love that performance, love that character. This movie, when I first saw it, I saw it with Kim and her son, who's 6, and his friend Jackson, who's also 6. And when I first saw it, I said, okay, not because I dislike it, but if I had to put it in an order, it would be last. That doesn't mean I didn't like it. It just means that's just where it falls. Right now, I think I would interchange it with number 4 for which one
See,
is in
I
the
don't
4th
really
position.
remember 4 from when it came out. I only saw it once, and I don't really remember what I thought about it. So this requires a rewatch for me to like see if this was a really big improvement. You know?
Yeah, I still need to do. I've seen it a couple times, but it's been years. But what I found really interesting is the more I sat with this movie, I liked it even more. Because at first
Same,
it ended,
same.
I was like, okay, I liked it. But like Kim said, wow, this really resonated because she said, I have a kid. He's not a, it's a boy, but still, like she's like, this is what he's doing now. It's about him fitting in. Like this, I hope she doesn't get mad at me for this. He wanted a Messi jersey recently. He doesn't watch soccer. He doesn't know Messi's first name. But it's that idea of Messi's a big deal. Like I guess I should like Messi. I don't maybe genuinely like him. I'll probably forget about him in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But the idea of kids trying to navigate a way to fit in that maybe has them do away with their who they really are. Like Bonnie still loves toys. These girls are like, you need to have an iPad. And the fact that even the parents are struggling with what do we do? How do we navigate this? Do we just do it for her? Do we not? There was such a big human element to this film that at first I was like, oh. And then one more thing. I grew up with these movies. I saw the first one in theaters. And the first thing I thought was I was like, oh, I could have used more Woody and Buzz. But I also realized it's fun to watch these movies evolve because this is no longer their story.
Yeah, I
It's
actually
now
think this movie
shifted
would
to
have been.
Jesse.
I think the more that Buzz and Woody were in this movie, like, Buzz and like original Woody. I mean, no, original Buzz and Woody were in this movie more. I actually think it would have taken away from it because
I don't
I
disagree
think
now that I thought
the
about it.
weakest parts of this film are their parts, in my opinion.
And I think it's a credit to the movie because they also wanted to highlight the now this movie's about Jesse and Bonnie and Blaze as well, this new character we meet. They're taking the role of what we saw with the dynamic of Andy with Woody and Buzz. And that story did truly end with number three. And where we're at now, the more I thought, I'm like, okay, I'm like, not like, oh, this is not my franchise anymore. But this franchise has evolved. And when people were like, how are they going to do a fifth one? Credit to them. If you're going to tell a Toy Story movie in 2026 and you're not trying to do the same old thing with Woody and Buzz, then this is the way to do it,
No,
I think.
they innovated, and like
Yeah.
that's what I'll give them is I was so scared this was going to be like a really big cash grab, which of course all of these things come from financial reasons, but God, this movie it's such a clever way to continue the storyline because it's really not about AI. It to me and in technology, I don't really think that's what this movie is about. I think, and what I really mostly resonated with this is like the epidemic of loneliness in children in this in current age because of things like AI and technology. And what really resonated with me was Bonnie's loneliness resonated the same as Jesse's loneliness and like the feeling of abandonment and being left behind by your peers. And both of their stories were so well interconnected and woven together. That felt like classic Toy Story being continued in a smart, clever way. Because this movie's, I think the weakest parts are when like Buzz and Woody are trying to like figure out how to like dismantle Lily Pad,
Mm.
and that to me it works because like they'll still find ways to be funny, and Tom Hanks and they're gonna
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen they're gonna be so charming and funny, and you just can't get enough of them. And I liked yeah, there you go. I liked
There's
Buzz.
two Toy Story toys on the screen right
Yeah,
now.
I loved Buzz's little romance arc he had going on there. Really loved how vivid the watercolor sequences were, where they were like imagining
Yes.
the play. Really great use of like
Very
watercolor.
cool thing we've never seen before where you get to see what the child's imagination, because we saw that with Andy in number three or one, whatever,
It was
where
three. It was
he's
three. It was the opening like train robbery scene.
yes,
Yeah.
and you're just seeing the toys. The fact that now you're seeing from the child's imagination perspective is so fucking cool.
Yes, and also like like how the toys like being like used in scenarios like that. Like I really loved that, and I also just found like
It's like they're method acting
they
or they're
they
dropping in.
they found ways to tie in like so many small details into like so many little things. Like the robot vacuum comes up like in one scene, and then it's like at the end and Lilypad references it. Like that's such a small detail, but to me it's how you spoke about Disclosure Day. Forgets about so many things. This movie does not forget about a single thing.
It
And it's
doesn't.
so smartly woven together. Kind of structured like a Tarantino screenplay, and that it keeps cutting back and forth between like three distinct plot lines that all converge in the end. Really liked that structure for a Toy Story movie. And I like that Andrew Stanton, who, wrote all these movies, is finally directing one because he just knows these characters best. And nothing more than that shows through Jesse's plot line. Moved me so much. I thought finally great for her to be in the driver's seat here. She's so great. Such an interesting plot line to explore how, her own loneliness, her fears of abandonment, Bonnie's fears of abandonment together. And God, that whole sequence with her at Blaze's house. I mean, you have Conan O'Brien as Smarty Pants.
Stole the show
So
from
good.
me, by
Literally
the
stole the
way.
show. So good. I liked even how during one of the watercolor sequences when they're like doing like the whole like Bond-esque thing, they literally give him the orange comb over.
Yep.
Like that was like that's so just such a little Easter egg. That's so clever. And when Jessie finally comes to the realization that her original owner named her daughter after her, me and Kennedy both looked at each other and just like bawling.
Right.
Like I'm kind of tearing up about it now because it's like so moving. It's so moving to me because to me I don't think a lot of people have been picking up about how this movie's really about loneliness and the fear of abandonment. And so I just really heavily resonated with that. And I thought the structure was unique. The screenplay was awesome. Dialogue awesome. Everyone was hilarious. Such a smart way to continue the series. yes, it feels super milked out. That's why I can't give this like a really high score. You know, it's still kind of like a 3 out of 5 for me. But they still found a way to make this really interesting, moving it forward as a sequel, and have the story be as good as it is. I can't ask for more than that. And
And what
also
I like,
cool use of animation with the watercolor stuff. Like you're moving the medium forward in some way as well.
what I like about this movie, at first it was a slight criticism I had of it, but it really isn't because they do change it up a bit. But there's a little bit of what's old is new again, because when I looked at it, what Jesse goes through with Lily is with Bonnie in between is pretty much what Woody goes through with Andy with Buzz in the first one. Like Woody is the toy, and yes, here comes another toy. But what? Why is Buzz so much more special? Because he is pretty much compared to Woody, he's tech. Like he's got the light, he's got the buttons, like he's hard plastic. Like she's struggling with something that really Woody struggled with heavily. I feel like there is a little bit of like, okay, this is giving me vibes of, and not in a bad way, Toy Story 1, where Jesse went through the same thing that he went through. And ultimately, too, like as I watched the movie, it worked on me in a way where I leaned over to Kim at one point and I was like, fucking Lily's not the bad guy. Like they haven't learned that okay, she's not like a toy like them, but she's just doing what she's served to
She's
do.
the new shiny thing who's doing what she has to do to survive.
And they're mad at her and they're trying to deprogram her. Like I actually started to feel for Lily in this movie. Really what I saw, not as villains, but the people that got me, I was like, fuck those little girls for being this way to Bonnie.
No, but thank God that was that way, because that was such an accurate representation of how vicious children are with each other nowadays.
Yep.
It wasn't that bad when I was a kid, at least from my perspective. But God, I see it today. Like the way that my like young cousins tell me about like how kids talk to them in school. You know what I mean? Like this was such a real accurate representation of like how you said like Denver got that jersey and things like that. It's such an accurate representation of like just the fear of abandonment, the fear of being left behind, and that's so perfectly woven together through Jesse's plotline and Bonnie's. That's the heart of the movie, is their two storylines. I thought the whole Buzz Army subplot was kind of playing into that Tarantino nature of just like cutting to the most random shit of all time. You know what I mean?
I loved it.
And I loved it too because it was so funny. How clever to like find new ways to like make the Star Command thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there was always a new star, and there was just like that's hilarious. Like they made so many clever jokes with the whole Star Command thing. Like really great. Also, nice touching scene when he looks inside the tent and sees the Buzz being played with.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that was a really heartwarming little nice
it's
touch.
like it comes like full circle for somebody who 30 years ago thought like he wasn't a toy. And the fact that he can appreciate like watching from afar, like,
and it's not even that character per se. It's another version of him, but
yeah, it's a jacked up Buzz. Like there's a QR code on Buzz that turns him into a drone. The idea that
so clever, by the way, so clever.
The idea at the end that these kids are playing with a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, and this guy's story started with like, I'm not to be played with, I'm not a toy and whatnot, and to see how Buzz has come full circle. And I love how Woody is like, he gets called in like he's Batman or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he comes in and he's he's the fixer in a way.
A little bit of a shoddy way of including him with like the walkie glitching out. A little bit of a but regardless, did you know that the guy who he's saving in the tree when Woody first comes into the movie, did you know that's Matty Matheson from The Bear?
No.
That's him, yeah, who playing like the little guy who's stuck
like
by the squirrel.
Parachute dude or something?
Yeah.
All right. Oh shit.
That was him.
Oh man, I didn't even see his name in the credits.
But regardless though, this was just how you do a sequel in modern times. This was a great sequel. Like not even really a great movie, just a great sequel.
If you were to rank them in order,
I can't. I gotta rewatch them. You can't ask me that now. I can't. But if I'm going off the top of my head, 1 through 3 is like a perfect trilogy in my eyes. And for me, it's like I'd rank it like 3, 2, 1. I actually think they all get better in my opinion.
It's funny. I go like 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, but I feel
That's
like
fair.
after it might just end up being like 1, 3, 2, 5, 4. And again, I
can't speak to 4. That's the thing I will say is I can't really speak to 4 right now.
I did enjoy 4. I've seen it a couple times. It's been years, but this movie definitely runs deeper though. Like on an emotional level, definitely than 4 did. I think when you do rewatch 4, you're you're gonna be like, oh no, this one's better. Because in my mind, just thinking about it, I'm like, this movie will probably settle with me better than that. But
No, because they also
it's hard to
they
beat.
reused Jesse's like theme song in this, that one song.
Mm-hmm.
And God, bro, what a great song that is.
From Toy Story 2. Yeah. So, where
Really
do you
a
land?
great sequel.
Where do you land on a riff rating?
I'll give Toy Story 5. I'll proudly give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna give it an 8. So, now, I want to do a little bit of a volley. So you saw 2 movies,
Yeah.
and in between one of them, I'm just going to speak for a couple minutes about one other movie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it quick because I've already spoken about it on a separate solo thing I recorded, but there's something I want to say about Jackass Best and Last on this podcast with you and see your reaction to it. But
Okay.
you saw The Invite, and what was this other movie?
The Rose of Nevada. I'm going to speak about The Invite first because this is the more important one for me. The Invite is Olivia Wilde's return to directing after Don't Worry, Darling with Harry Styles. And, that movie had a lot of drama surrounding it, a lot of drama, and was also just seen as very weak. And I think it was a movie that thought it could outsmart its audience and was trying to actively outsmart its audience. And this is a movie that doesn't try to outsmart you, but ends up outsmarting you a little bit. And it's not that there's any crazy plot twist in this movie. There's nothing like that. It's just all 4 characters in this films are onions that slowly get unraveled, and it is fucking hilarious to watch. It's fucking dramatic. It's tragic. It's every emotion. My mom described this because we watched this yesterday. She walked out here. She's like, I feel like I felt every emotion in the human body during that movie. And it's literally about 4 people in a series of rooms for an hour and like 50 minutes.
Wow.
And there's no one else. It's just 4 actors, and that's it. And God, Penelope Cruz on a different level. Holy shit, the amount of stage presence that she has is unreal. Edward Norton, best use of him in years. He's fucking hilarious. So fucking funny. So awkwardly funny. He's best use of Ed in years. Seth Rogen goes to places emotionally. I didn't really know he'd land as well as he does in this movie. And Olivia Wilde, God, I did not know she's that fucking funny. She is hilarious. Like, so good at comedic timing. So good. And there's so many themes in this movie about jealousy, insecurity, sexual taboos, everything. It is awesome. It feels like a movie made for me. Literally one of the best directed movies I've seen this year because it moves. It moves, and it's so good, and you feel every emotion. Screenplay's on fire. Honestly, I even love to do like its own little podcast about this movie because it's that good. It is one of the best of this year. I'd put it behind Obsession.
Wow. So the screenplay by Will McCormick and Rashida Jones.
There you go. But it's a great movie.
behind
I
Obsession.
can't. If there's anything I could recommend for you to see in theaters right now, it is The Invite because you will have a great time. Maybe don't bring your mom like I did, but you will have a great time.
I remember seeing a trailer for this and thinking, Kim and I were like, yeah, definitely got to see this. And
Definitely
then just kind of forgot about it, but because it hasn't been strong promotion for it. And then there's been a ton of other movies that have come out since then. And apparently this film is dedicated to Diane Keaton.
It is. It is, actually. It is. I remember it says for Diane.
And just out of curiosity, because we always talk about this, I'm just looking over his wiki. How is the score?
Quirky and works really well. Gets dramatic at just the right moments. There's a sequence where like Seth Rogen learns a piece of information and it like comes in and you're like, yes, like it feels like it's like one of those like lean in moments.
Is this a good double feature with the drama?
This is what the drama wanted to be. Is all I'll say. Is all I'll say.
Wow.
That's what the drama wanted to be, but tried way too hard. This is 4 people in a room, and it gets to a deeper core of humanity than the drama did.
Wow, man, I want to see Evil Dead Burn tomorrow, but I wonder if I could double feature
that shit, bro.
Find it with this. Wow. So, what is your riff rating for
The Invite?
A24 is The Invite. A24.
9 out of 10, like Obsession.
Wow. So this is right behind Obsession of right now.
Right behind as of now, yeah. I actually have a current I finally went through and made like a top 10 of 2024, 2025, and now I have one going for 2026. And currently it's Obsession, The Invite, The Drama, Backrooms, Hokum, Project Hail Mary, Toy Story 5, Minions and Monsters, Disclosure Day, and Scream 10 are my top 10. Just because I haven't seen that many like newly 2026 movies.
Mine is not far off from you, but somewhere in there, I'd be putting the Bone Temple.
Yeah, Bone Temple. I gotta rewatch it. Unfortunately.
Fucking loved it. But when I call, you know how many times like somebody looks at the little tag on the iPhone, like when you could put a picture
Hmm.
and they don't know who it is because it's my picture is Sir Jimmy Crystal's.
Oh yes, my mom was like, no, Kennedy was like, why is Bill's profile picture like a fucking like hillbilly? And I was like, I can't even explain that to you.
My client Nicole, she was like, "Oh, now I know who it is. I've seen the Bone Temple." It's just like-
Yeah,
so,
bro, you're a psychopath.
I before we get to what's the other one, the Rose of
The
Nevada.
Rose and Nevada. I'll talk about that one last. 'Cause I don't have too much to say about it, but
I just want to say something that, and again, I did my first ever like solo one about Jackass.
yeah, which will
And
be coming
Jackie,
out this upcoming week.
cool. And I'll keep this one quick because I did an episode on it. But I do want to say it hit me in a way that Toy Story 5 did, where right now at 36 years old, I'm at a point in my life where franchises are either winding down or they're taking like their next step in the evolution, like the way
Yes.
Toy Story did, where it's like, okay, this is not the franchise, and not in a bad way, that I grew up with. It's evolving into something else that I enjoy. And then you have Jackass, which is ending, where it's over. And Jackass, Toy Story 5, I watched it at 5 years old in the theater. Jackass, I snuck into the first movie in 2001, and I was watching the show in the year 2000.
Yeah.
I used to get in trouble for trying to emulate these guys. And I sat there like laughing my fucking ass off. And I remember at the end of the movie, I started crying during the credits because I was like, wow, it's not just that Jackass is over. Like I'm
It's a
watching
piece of you.
close out.
Yeah.
And I fucking wish I would have thought of this, but one of our favorite critics, CR Chris Ryan, said something about Jackass that blew my fucking mind. He didn't say this exactly. I'm adding to it, but he actually said when talking about with Sean Fennessy, because they loved it. They're big fans of Jackass. He said Jackass is actually pure cinema. He's like, because you could argue if you want to call it a movie. He's like, but, and this is very much what actually your mom.
Documentaries and mockumentaries though are movies, so I don't want to
Right.
hear. I don't want to hear any
Well,
of that shit. You know.
in terms of like it's a stunt show, whatever.
Yeah, but it could totally fall into a mockumentary. You know.
what your mom said about the invite, he's like, how many movies can you go to and you're going to feel laughter, you're going to be horrified, you're going to be grossed out, you're going to be scared, you're going to be looking at the person next to you. It's always going to be a communal experience.
It is cinema.
There's never a such thing as a quiet Jackass movie. There's always going to be people. You're going to be white knuckling your chair. You're going to be wincing. I can't believe they did that. You're going to have shock and awe. You're going to suspend your disbelief until you see what actually happens. Again, grossed out, laughing. I mean, to the point of literally crying.
And I'm sure like a bit of sadness in this movie with the melancholy of it ending.
100%. There's a scene where Johnny Knoxville is doing a lie detector test and he's being electrocuted if he tells a lie. First question they ask him, did you take Fear Factor for the money? He goes, no. And he gets electrocuted. They cut back to it later and they go, is this the last Jackass? And he goes, yep. And then they just move on. Like they just hit you in the middle of the movie with this emotional hit. And watching these guys wind down and still seeing like the way they commit to the bit, like I gotta give them a lot of credit. Like I know you could be like, oh, what's so special being gored by a bull and concussed? I mean, they're committing to what, they still believe in this shit. They don't phone it in. This movie has a little less in it. It does a lot of like flashbacks, and they even show, and then I'll quiet down about Jackass. They even show a few skits that never made it because MTV either said like this is not going to air, and it actually cost MTV something like 10 years of filming around LA because of something they did where Knoxville went into a hardware store in an orange jumpsuit with cuffs on and asked for a hacksaw. And they called the cops and arrested him because they thought he was an escapee. This guy, they opened the movie with a never before seen skit from the show. Never before seen. I know Johnny Knoxville is alive in 2026, but when he said with a bulletproof vest and magazines on his chest, he was going to shoot himself in the chest with a revolver, I still grabbed Kim by the arm and my heart rate was up. He extends his arms out and shoots himself in the chest with a gun. A bulletproof vest and 3 magazines, like Hustler magazines. I grabbed Kim and I'm like, hey, like, and I'm panicking. I'm like, this is from 1999 and it's still working because I know he's alive.
But it's still
And
working. It is a form of cinema, man. It makes you feel those
yeah,
emotions, and I'm sure it was even stronger for this one because it was the last one, and it's tied
yeah,
so strongly to a piece of like your core of who you are.
yeah. Have you ever watched any
No,
that never rubbed up on you?
I've
Yeah,
seen the clips. I've seen the clips, of
yeah.
course, but it's something that hey, with this last one being out, I could totally see myself getting into it, and it's totally something up my alley, like because we're into that exact same type of humor and like craziness.
And it's incredibly profitable. And it's a movie where like you don't have to be locked in the whole time. You can fucking get high if you want. You can be watching
Yeah,
it at a party. You could be laying in your bed. You're like, I gotta turn my mind off. I'm gonna watch these guys get hit in the balls.
I think something though with like the invite too is like and I think this probably happened I'm sure in the Jackass screenings across the world is that different moments cause different people to react. Like there was a moment in my theater where I was like laughing my ass off, but some guy next to me was like I could tell was like extremely grossed out by what was happening. And
Yeah.
and it was just like it was actually no, it was speaking to what you say, is that like it's like a it is cinema. That is cinema. It's that communal experience of us all reacting differently and experiencing different emotions, and that's why I think the Invite's so successful in its storytelling. And I think it's probably why Jackass is so successful in its storytelling because it's still a story to be told. It's still cinema, and I think that's a great. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great point.
Yeah. Now, are we talking about the Rose? It's called the Rose of Nevada.
Yeah, I could talk about it real quick and get into it. So set the stage a little bit. Kennedy had planned all these surprises for my birthday, and one of my favorite theater you've been to in Chicago is the Music Box Theater that they
Great
project
theater.
movies on actual film. Amazing, beautiful theater. It feels like you're stepping back in time to the 50s. Makes you feel that movie magic. And we went there, surprised, and we were seeing this movie called The Rose of Nevada. And we got there, I'd say we maybe missed 2 minutes of the movie. And like I'm just watching this movie, and it's a it's about a fishing village, a big village. It's a fishing village in the UK. And who's that actor who's in this?
Callum Turner
Callum Turner, yeah, that famous actress,
and George McKay.
and George McKay, yeah, both of them are great. They play it's essentially like Jaws, where like the two of them both have their reasons for getting on this boat called the Rose of Nevada, but one of them for George McKay is financial. He needs to help fix his roof for his wife and his kid. His roof is like falling apart and he needs money, so he gets on this fishing boat. Callum Turner's character, there's almost no backstory explained other than he's clearly running from something, and not even a spoiler. They don't even explain what it is in the movie.
Oh,
And
okay. I like that.
so they both get on this boat. There's an old, fisherman who's driving the boat, who's captain, very Quint-esque. And I'm like, okay, what is this movie? Is this gonna be, a drama about these three men on a boat, toxic masculinity, like talking about things like that, like they're both like on this treacherous journey for like like menial reasons. Like I was trying to figure out what this was because it was like so dramatic. It was shot in such a beautiful way. It was so intimate. The characters felt like so strange and surreal in like a David Lynch-esque way. The best way I could describe this movie is it's very Lynchian, is that nothing's explained, there's nothing. But my whole point is that like I missed the first 2 minutes of this movie and I'm like, did I miss like what genre this movie is? Like, what is this movie? And then there's one shot. There's one shot of something and I'm like, oh my God, this is a ghost movie.
Oh,
And it's not a ghost movie. That's
okay.
all I'll say. That's how I can sell you on this movie. That's it.
No, I'm in. I don't think I've even heard of this movie.
I didn't either. I had no idea what it was. And by the end of it, I don't think you're going to know what it is either. But it is an interesting ride. And if you like David Lynch, you will love this movie. It looks beautiful. Great camera work. Great camera work. Best compliment I could give it. Callum Turner, really interesting guy. So very Josh O'Connor-esque in his like rebellious nature, but like in this like darker, sexier way, 100%. Not in like that like young guy feeling. Like he feels like a darker, sexier version of like the Josh O'Connor effect. And the both of them together have zero chemistry in this movie, but for good reason. And there is a point in this movie where you really do figure out what it's about, but they never explain why. And I don't want to give you what is because the moment it happened, like Kennedy knew it from the trailer, but the moment it happened, I was like just looking around the theater, like, is anyone else watching the same movie as me right now? Like, is this what this movie is? Because it's not what I thought it was. Like, it's one of those movies where you're gonna think it's like 8 different things before you finally figure out what it is. But then once you figure out what it is, it's not what it is.
I'm gonna try to find this movie. I mean, I would take any recommendation you have, but wow.
Yeah.
I'm also impressed when I'm looking at the credits here. Mark Jenkin, who directed it, he also did the screenplay, story by, cinematography, edited,
Killed it.
and music.
Killed it, bro. He killed it.
This guy did everything for the movie.
Oh, I really like this letterbox review from this guy named Jay. Shout out Jay.
Jay,
Coastal towns haunted by nostalgia and the industries that left them behind. A busy village pub can feel so eerie. Mark Jenkins photographs abandoned ports like they're the prettiest place on earth. George McKay's making movies like no one else.
wow.
That's it. And I think it's very interesting. You know, I gave it 3 stars. It's nothing crazy. Riff rating wise, I'd give it like a 6, you know, or a 7. And it's really solid for me. But what's so interesting is the ride of the movie, for not knowing anything about it, was like, whoa, this is interesting. Even though it's like a very, very slow paced movie. And that's why I really want to put it out there for all you Lynch heads out there. Go check this out. This is what's next up. You know what I mean?
What made you go see this? Did you see a trailer that
No. This
caught
was
you?
Kennedy surprising me. She had no idea what this was either. She just said this was the most interesting movie playing at the Music Box on your birthday and bought the tickets.
Because did she watch the trailer?
She
and then
watched the
made
trailer and
call?
she said it looked really interesting, and she was right.
Wow. I don't know if I want to watch the trailer. I might
No,
just
don't watch the trailer. Don't. Big
Yeah.
Big don't for anyone out there who's listening still.
It's not available anywhere. It's just I'm looking at. It's got a 95% Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I also
that's
watched
why.
it like projected on film, so it was like really, it looked so beautiful and so
It said you
crisp.
could watch it on 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
As I'm looking in Fandango, yeah, it's pretty much at the Roxy Cinema in New York. This was like a movie I'm gonna have
it's
to
not.
wait.
It's not like worth going out there for. But like, yeah, when it comes to
Yeah.
Prime or like whenever you can rent it, dude, totally worth like a late night, like maybe get a little high, like snooze into it. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
because it feels so much like a David Lynch movie in the best ways.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this movie
Yeah,
now.
I was just super excited to talk about like a very interesting turn of a movie like Rose of Nevada, but also just a knockout slam dunk for Olivia Wilde in The Invite. Like what a comeback for her.
So what? I'm sorry. Did you give Rose of Nevada?
Rose of
an
Nevada,
overall
I
riff
would
rating?
I would give a 6 on the riff rating. Or no,
A 6.
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7.
Gotcha. Well, I feel like you're about to say it was gonna be higher than that.
No, because I could have used a bit more from this movie, but at the same time, that criticism is its biggest strength. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Is that I'm
All
gonna
right.
be honest with you, Bill, is this movie gives you nothing. It really gives you
Okay.
nothing. But through that, I think a lot of people will think that it's given them everything. You know what I mean?
So this is really show don't tell.
Oh yeah, nothing is spelled out for you. Nothing.
This
And
movie is
if you're
unrated.
not paying attention, if you miss, there's actually one scene where they show something, and it's so critically important to understanding the movie that if you you know looked at your phone at what time it was during that scene, a huge element later would not be understood.
Wow.
Yeah,
And I don't think this movie I don't think this movie is rated.
dude,
I keep seeing NR,
it's like
NR.
it's an unknown. Like
Yeah.
if you're a Chicago head out there, it's playing in the Music Box. Go check this out. Anywhere else, like, you know, I think you're probably gonna have to wait to watch this one. It's just one of those lucky times I get to see like a movie on film just because I'm lucky enough to live by the Music Box. But regardless of that, whenever you can get your hands on this movie, if you're a Lynch head, if you're into surreal, if you're into movies that don't really have a genre and exist in a kind of purgatory state, this is for you.
Yeah, this movie, the fact that it doesn't even have a rating, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing here, is even more interesting. Wow.
It's a real interesting movie. Very.
And did you say this did or didn't make your top 10 thus far?
I haven't really thought about that. It definitely would make the top 10 because it's just that strong, and I haven't seen that many new 2026 movies.
Gotcha.
It would definitely go over like the animated films and like Disclosure Day and things like that. When it gets up into like the drama and like in the Invite and Obsession, for me, it's a little bit tough to say. But you know, I mean, I'll definitely have a more refined top 10 at the end of the year to like really
Yeah.
dig myself into. And that's why I'm doing this now, is so when it comes by time the end of the year, I can have like a really refined list to like go through.
And we are now from, well, actually a week away today because of some early screenings. We are 1 week away from the Odyssey.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. I'm actually not gonna be here for when it comes out. I won't be able
All
to see it
right.
opening day. I'm gonna be in Utah, unfortunately. But the day I get back, I'm seeing that shit in IMAX.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
Cannot
And his
wait.
movies don't usually open big, but they just keep growing. Like he doesn't have, minus the Batman, like movies and like the biggest openings. But what's really interesting, what I'm going to keep an eye on, is the very next week, or no, 2 weeks later, it's got to deal with Spider-Man. And good luck. Like I'm
Yeah.
really curious to see what this movie brings in when then you have the Spider-Man coming in legit 2 weeks
This
later.
first week in word of mouth is gonna be huge, especially for like killing the naysayers of this movie, which definitely do exist. But this is also a movie where it's like I know you're gonna see it before me, and I actually don't want you to say a single thing about me. I don't even want you to say if you liked it.
Okay.
I want to go into this not knowing a single thing.
Okay. Did you hear? We'll close on this.
Yeah.
That John Bernthal says almost every script he gets, there's always let me tell you something, including in the Odyssey. An interesting quote by Nolan. I read something earlier, not verbatim,
Yeah.
but he said something like he knew he was going to catch some shit for using more contemporary speak in this movie, which some people are like really hung up about.
But
Like, why is
it's an adaptation of a story that's been adapted in different cultures, languages, and perceptions of the world for like decades.
right?
Decades has this story been adapted into different versions. And that's the whole point of an adaptation. We're just seeing a very modernized American version of it from one of our biggest directors. You need to look at it as an adaptation and not the
Yep.
source material. And that's just the truth of it.
And this is what happens as you continue to grow and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan's already a huge name, but as you continue to become a legend, you're just going to catch more and more shit.
No, yeah, he made a choice as a director for his movie. He made a choice. That's what being a director is. It's making choices, and let's wait till we see it to see if
Yep.
that choice worked or not. That's
Yeah,
what
we
I'll
actually
say.
never spoke about this. I was curious how you felt about. I knew we were going to fall, but
Yeah.
like these people just criticizing. How the fuck do you know? People act like I was
People
there.
just want to be mad about something too. They like they're mad that Oppenheimer was so wildly successful for what it was,
Right.
and they don't want to see this happen again.
Then why'd you go see it? The movie Oppenheimer made almost $1 billion.
I know, dude.
Oppenheimer. Like the fact that pulled in all these different demographics. Oppenheimer. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Odyssey beats Oppenheimer or no? Oppenheimer did have the Barbenheimer effect, which did socially play.
Financially, I don't think it will, but I don't know. In terms of quality, I don't know. We're gonna have to see.
Oh no, I mean like box office.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't think?
I don't want to. I don't want to speak too early though. Like we've seen it before. I mean, nobody thought that Oppenheimer was gonna have any sort of trajectory that it did. No one. There was no one. There's very few people who were like, "This is gonna be the most successful movie of the year." You know what I mean? Like one
Yep.
of. You know.
Because I do think the highest grossing film of this year is either going to be Spider-Man or Avengers. Like those Spider-Man movies.
You were
just-
really throwing it out there for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I do think. Not that I'm saying like I mean I love Spider-Man, but I'm not like a Spider-Man like psychopath.
Yeah.
But kind of. But those movies always work, and Tom Holland's wildly successful. And there was the Barbenheimer effect. You got Holland in 2 big movies in 1 month. Maybe there's like this Holland hype that's coming, right? Yeah, because Odyssey, yeah. So
I'm so excited, man. We have a great ending to this month for movies.
we do. Yeah, I don't know if we have. I'm even excited for Evil Dead Burn.
Yeah, I'm seeing that tonight, so I'm excited.
I'm pumped for that. So, do you have anything more you want to add?
That's all, man. Go.
Okay.
Everyone, go watch it. Go watch a good movie. There's plenty out.
Absolutely, and buy physical media.
Buy physical media. Go watch movies. Just be happy. That's all I could say. Thank you guys for
That's it.
watching. Please like, subscribe. Thank you for listening at home, everything, where you're driving, wherever you are. Thank you for listening. And, we'll be back. We have Bill's Jackass episode coming out. And we got the Odyssey coming up, Spider-Man coming up. Lots to look forward to. Oh, yeah. It's not even coming through, bro. Not even coming through.
What?
Not even coming through. This is like
I
you trying
tried
to
to do the
clap. You
Emily
just
Blunt
you look
thing.
stupid every time.
You still can't hear that?
Nope.
Fuck. Well, we have to just tell people who are listening. I'm trying to do the Emily Blunt thing.
Yeah, it's not
From
working. Listen,
Disclosure
this is
Day.
like your clap thing. It's just you look stupid every time.
Nothing. All right, fine. How's that?
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.